Hi everyone. My name is Purwaditya Yuwana, and my friends Youri Besson will be presenting the case of Chapter 2 in Business Ethics, Ethical Principles in Business, and the case title is Unocal in Burma. So, in the Myanmar, there is 5 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. It's called Yadana oil field. And the gas fields can be sustained production until 30 years. While the operator of this field is starting from Total SA, a company from France, and then took over by Unocal, and and the case of this presentations will be given the question and answer. So the Burma has been chosen by the company because Burma um, has cheap labor and rich of gas resources and strategic location within international markets. Okay. In the 1992, Total SA signed a contract with Myanmar Oil and Gas Enterprise, or MOGE, in terms of providing security, protection, and rights. Because Total SA needed the MOGE service to secure their business operations during the gas production facility construction. And then in the operation, MOGE used military force to come into rule. Okay. While the sites of the gas resources, um, there are many local groups. One of the group is Karen groups, indigenous people in the region. And then human violations occurred because the use of force that involved the Burmese military force to secure the business operations success in the construction of the gas facilities. And then after the construction has been done by Total SA, Unocal or Union Oil Company of California taken over the field, and afterwards Chevron also acquired the Unocal.
So as we saw, there were a few human violations during this this case. So there was the use of force by Burma military to secure the area and construct the gazoduct, and Karen groups who were living there suffered injuries, forced labor, relocation, forced labor, torture, murder, and rape. So, of course, these events are showing a problem of ethics, and we will see next with Bora that is beginning to answer the questions, that some ethical problems are there, and on the other hand, this project bring some advantages too.
Okay. The question number one is assess whether from a utilitarian rights, justice, and caring perspective, Unocal did the right thing in deciding to invest in the pipeline and then it conducting the project as it did. Assuming there was no way to change the outcome of this case and that the outcome was forcing, was Unocal then justified in deciding to invest in the pipeline? Okay, on my point of view, Unocal have chosen right decision regarding costs and benefit evaluations of the utilitarianism uh, from this case. Uh, I see there are a lot of benefits more than the costs of this investment decision as taken by Unocal. The first one, benefits are going to Unocal itself. So Unocal enjoy the cheap labor from the Burma, and then it is located in the rich natural gas resources, and moreover, Unocal also can access the strategic locations to international market. So it's easy to Unocal to sell the gas to the international market across uh, the trading routes like to Thailand, India, and China. Not only that, and Burma also earned some advantage also. The first one, it could increasing government income because this investment decision uh, bring uh, bring the additional income for the government. Uh, and and the second one, it can improve the Burmese economy and standard of living uh, because the investment can add the I factor in the GDP or gross domestic products formula. So more money flows in, higher economies goes up, and when government earn income about 200 to 400 million dollars per year, Burmese government can spend its income on various um, social programs such as education, healthcare, and build public facilities. And the third benefit is when the Unocal came in Myanmar, it launched the socio-economic programs that, according to the CDA, it could increase the standard of living in the local to the local population, while the cost of these decisions is also exists. The first one is human violations to current groups and corruption among the Burmese government and military officers. By the way, one could say that the benefits are not that big compared to the costs. That is the problem with utilitarianism. And health and life are things we cannot value. Uh,
Yeah, exactly. So some people would say that as poor, that the advantages are bigger than human violations and corruption because uh, it this this exploitation of gas in Burma gave the opportunity to bring money to Burman people. But I'm part of the people that think that uh, what happened before and during uh, the exploitation was too heavy, and uh, the advantages are not so big. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Thank you, Yuri. Actually, the left side talk about the benefits, and the right side talk about the costs. And it's interesting because Yuri and I have different opinion about the calculation between the costs and benefits, and that's okay. So we will discuss furthermore. We will discuss further uh, to this topic on our class. Right?
Yeah, completely. But
Yeah.
as you can see, this illustrates good the problem with utilitarianism, I think.
Yeah. Okay. We move to the question number 2. In your view, is Unocal morally responsible for the injuries inflicted on some of the Karen people? Explain. Or is Chevron? Well, I think both Unocal and Chevron is morally responsible for the injuries of some of the Karen group. Because I think it has occurred in order to serve the business operation success. Okay, that the first party that has been benefited uh, from this uh, uh, from this security service from by Burmese military is total SA. But at the end of the day, Unocal took over the Yadana oil and gas field. So Unocal enjoy the benefits from the security service from Burmese military. And Unocal, as the off-taker of the gas fields, knew the occurred event with a whole picture. Uh, Unocal recruited the consultant to monitor this project before it invested on this Yadana gas field. So I think the more Unocal knows, the more responsibility uh, should be taken. And then Unocal was acquired by Chevron. So Chevron uh, came into a role as the shareholder of the Unocal. So Chevron also needs to take the responsibility also on this event, on this human violations event. And the fourth reason is Unocal and Chevron also had financial and bargaining power to change the status quo. Both of them had financial resources in in their pocket to launch much more program on on improving socio-economic condition, and they also could uh, exercise their bargaining power to influence the Burmese military to to take uh, more more humanizing uh, or I think not 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 using of force anymore to the local and indigenous people. Uh, so that's the reason. That are the reason why both Unocal and Chevron is morally responsible for the injuries inflicted on some of the current people. Next, the question number 3, Youri, please.
Yeah. So, do you agree or disagree with Unocal's view that engagement, rather than isolation, is a proper course to achieve social and political change in developing countries with repressive governments? So, in my opinion, in absolute terms, what they said is true. People have no other models and often not enough power to face repressive regimes when they are isolated. For instance, we have North Korea. So engage means openness, which brings ideas, other models as democracy. The problem is that repressive governments are limiting openness. So encouraging engagement, in my opinion, is moral, is good in the moral way. But all this, let's not forget, is secondary or even only a pretext for Unocal. They hide behind this statement, but their main purpose is to fulfill the contract and earn a lot of money by exploiting this deposit. They were fully aware that the Karen ethnic minority had been harmed and forced to live along the pipeline, live LEAVE, of course, and that they were benefiting from a human rights violation. And as we saw before, there were even torture and executions. So Unocal said the project was a financial windfall for the Burmese and communicated a lot about his aid program, which, in my opinion, is actually social washing, since it allowed them to continue to rake in tens and hundreds of millions of dollars by decreasing the pressure that was on there because of previous abuses. And in the same time, they were continuing to fund the Burmese military regime. And I'm going to make a bracket, but I recently read an article in a French media that speaks about this case, but on another view, because following pressure from various NGOs, Total, which we hear about in this case, uh, had a part in the problem here in this case, um, because following the military takeover earlier this year in Burma, there was a controversy after the revelation of the mound at the beginning of May. The French group Total announced that it was suspending the payment of dividends from the transport of gas to the company controlled by the military, which is MOGE. So it was very opaque, and it was actually using the dividends from the development of the deposit to finance the army that took over the power and has not given up since. So it is another time, not the same companies, different countries, but the same lack of ethics, in my opinion, in the same area, because nowadays it is still a deposit that is used. So I think the parallel was interesting.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's all.
Thank you, Purwa.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
everyone.
Youri. Yeah, thank you
Thank you
for
for
your attention, the audience. Okay, it's enough.